Hi everyone, it's Jen again. Hope you're all having a good week. I've been kind of thinking about some stuff that has been, ruminating in my brain since the last game development video where I was talking about how I do game development as a hobby and why it's so important to me personally to have ownership over my own creative process, and how I choose to use it more as a means of self-expression, decompression. Just it is a driving force in my life right now to keep me grounded, to bring me a sense of peace, and to feel like I can, have a voice, have a voice that I don't feel like needs to be compromised. And that got me thinking about some of my current thoughts of the state of the industry, and I guess some of the experiences that I've had. And I don't want to call out anybody or anything. I'm not trying to pass judgment or anything, but I just want to share some observations as some food for thought for those who might also be going into game development or some type of creative field where they're sharing their work online. Let me start by saying that I think that a lot of these creative industries have been struggling. I think there's been an over-reliance on algorithms to drive whatever projects are greenlit, that it's been kind of making a lot of content very watered down, rehashed to death, rebooted to death. There is, with all this investment, just a very, unwillingness to take risks. But risks are kind of where that lightning in a bottle happens. That moment where you have a real cultural phenomenon that takes people by storm, so to speak. It's not that it's something that's necessarily wildly revolutionary every time, but it is something that's different, right? That really stands out from the crowd. And it seems like there's an unwillingness in a lot of the established distribution, a lot of the publishing establishment, whether it be from shareholders holding it back or what. There seems to be a fear of taking risks, and that risks nowadays are taken by independent creators, by passion projects, kind of rising above. And for everyone that succeeds, there's millions that don't. So I don't want to say that traditional publishers should take this approach. I can understand where they're coming from as a business, and I don't want to demonize them or say that they're bad or wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying that there is kind of a stagnation in the wider, traditional publishing, and that nowadays, to rise up above all that noise, there's a weariness, I think, amongst the public with some of these kind of almost cynical rehashing of safe properties, that there's a real opportunity for indie creators to take that risk that a lot of these more established distribution houses aren't willing to take. And there's gonna be other, some of them being like the big publishers, and some of them being like startups or small publishers who are going to look to hitch their wagons to these pioneers, so to speak, are people who are willing to take risks once they see that the risk is starting to take traction. So I've noticed over my little game dev journey that as some of my projects have been getting a little bit more traction, and I'm not even saying any of them have taken off, like it doesn't have to be very much traction. You may start to be getting people reaching out to make offers, whether it be they're trying to get you to install some type of third-party software to your games, or they're looking to, take one of your properties under their umbrella, their publishing platform. And I would just say be very careful. From a business standpoint, it makes sense to just try to grab a bunch of stuff that seems like it might possibly be a little promising, to pick things that haven't really taken off yet, so that you can gather a bunch of stuff, little small stuff, right? Just throw it at the wall and see what sticks, and hope that you've got a winner. So there's gonna be publishers that are gonna be looking for small creators that they think might have some potential to possibly blow up, and then they're gonna lowball all those creators into kind of like low offer, because they don't expect any of these creators to actually take off. They're just doing it in the hopes that they will maybe win the lottery. So they're buying a bunch of like little lotto tickets because the payoff, if one of those were to take off, would be enormous. And who better to target than small creators who haven't taken off yet, who don't know their worth, so to speak, their market value yet. The enthusiasm that some of these individuals will have is very contagious, and I don't doubt their sincerity for the passion that they're putting into what they're trying to achieve. I don't think that it's any of these publishers, any of these third parties that are looking to collaborate with creators are doing so in any type of malicious way, and even not even always necessarily profit driven. But even good intentions can bring you down. I personally am of the mindset that if you are looking to sign any contracts with anybody, that you should have an agent, you should have some sort of legal representation that is experienced in negotiation and contract details. If you're at a point and the offer seems like not worth hiring that type of counsel, it's probably not a contract that's worth signing. And I know the temptation, like when I was younger, would be like, well, it's already here, I already have it out there, and it's already like not really gaining that much traction, so what do I have to lose by like throwing it in this other bucket? Seeing where this takes me. But you might feel that way, and you might chalk it up as a loss in the end. That's okay, but it can actually take you off of your trajectory. So a lot of times when you start having people reaching out to you, it's because you're starting to show signs of being able to gain traction. If you mishandle your project, or you allow it to be mishandled, or you tether it to something that You lose having all of your creative control as far as like how you want to present it, where you want to present it, on what platforms you want to present it, etc. It can actually hold you back. It can actually take you off of whatever trajectory that you were on that was like starting to work, and it can drag you down, whether it be intention. I don't think there's any malicious intent on any of that. I want to go over that again. I don't prescribe any malicious intent on any of the third-party actors or publishers. But regardless, your work that you've put into your project is something that a publisher, whether they're a big publisher, a small publisher, whatever, they are looking to capitalize off of that work. Now, whether or not they have something to offer you in return, like can they amplify your platform to the extent where it's worth giving up a portion of your work to this other party? Sometimes it might be worth it. I would just say to exercise caution, to try to mitigate your own risk, to say, okay, they have this kind of audience that I could have access to. They have this kind of distribution that I could have access to. They have this kind of, editorial staff or whatever it is. They have to be able to offer you something that's worth you taking a risk with them, as well as them taking a risk with you. And I think a lot of dialogue when I was growing up, and I don't know if this is still true, was more about like, oh, they're doing you a favor. They picked you out of the lineup of all the other people, and they're, you're privileged to have been noticed. I don't believe in that anymore. I don't see it that way anymore. Even large publishers, established publishers, reputable publishers, they are all in a precarious space right now, and they are all looking for that lightning in a bottle that they can capitalize off of. So I would just say never lose sight of that. Don't undervalue your worth. Just make sure if you're signing up for anything, you're being approached by anyone, before you even hear them out, just make sure you go in with a mindset of understanding that people in this avenue, now it's a business transaction, and they have to be able to offer you something worthwhile. That's all I've got for now. I just, maybe I'm being too cautious, or maybe it's kind of a downer. I don't know. I just feel like I'm compelled to like throw this out there because of the bad decisions that I made when I was younger, and starting to get approached again. I can see what I didn't see back then. And I think that I would have probably made some decisions that I would regret 5-10 years down the line if I didn't have that experience to I guess keep me from making regretful decisions. I don't even want to say bad decisions, but just regretful decisions. Yeah, whoever is out there that needs to hear this video, past self me, I hope it reaches you. And to everybody else, please just ignore this as being, the ramblings of some old lady on the internet that you absolutely don't have to listen to. Just random opinions to throw out there to maybe think about, to chew on. All right. Take care. Have a good upcoming week. Hope this spring is coming us on its way. And if you're working on something, don't forget to enjoy the process. Bye-bye now.